The results comparison can be presented in a table as shown here. We have air-to-air heat pump with evaporator temperature for the heating mode ranged between -5 to 0 degrees centigrade, and low pressure is 6 to 8 bar. Compressor discharge temperature is range between 75 to 90, and high side pressure is range between 28 to 32 bar. Of course, we these ranges are related to the operating condition of the fluid circulated in these heat pumps. And we have condenser temperature for the heating mode is range between 45 to 50 degrees centigrade, and we have the cooling mode evaporator temperature is around 5 degree centigrade. A similar operating conditions can be stated for other heat pumps. For example, air-to-water heat pump has the evaporator temperature for heating mode is range between -5 to +5 for the heating mode, and for the cooling mode, evaporator temperature is around 5 degrees Celsius. And again, we have a range of pressure and operating temperature depends on the fluid circulated in the uh, heat pump. And finally, the geothermal heat pump uh, has a similar evaporator temperature, condenser temperature, pressure, and so on. We have evaporator temperature for the heating mode is range between 5 to 12 degrees centigrade, and cooling mode, the evaporator temperature is around 7 degrees centigrade. We have to note that for geothermal heat pump, the evaporator temperature is represented by the borehole or horizontal heat exchanger, which can be used as a geothermal heat exchanger. And we have the cooling mode, of course, depends again on the temperature of the soil there. And these conditions are controlled by the type of refrigerant which is to be circulated in these heat pumps. It is interested to compare the performance and cost of these heat pumps. In this table, we have used COP, uh, EER, and cost for installation of these heat pumps, or annual cost for heating, estimating the annual cooling cost, and life expectancy and best utilizations. These parameters will be used for comparison for the three types. And for the typical heating COP, it's clear that we have geothermal heat pump as a higher value, and it is range between 4 to 5.5. And estimating annual heating cost for this type, I mean for the geothermal heat pump, is range between 767 to 1054 pound, which is uh, lower, represent lower value than the air to water heat pump, where is cost around 937 to 1,406 euros, and for air to air is 1,205 to 1,687 euros. So it's clear that the estimated annual heating cost is lower for geothermal heat pump, and is the same for the cooling cost as well, is range between 230 to 316 euros, and these values are based on a 3-ton uh, um, cooling load and 4 tons uh, heating load. So, if we go to the life expectancy, it's clear that the geothermal heat pump can last for 20 to 30 years and maybe more. And it represents a high operating life compared to the air to air and air to water. And again, we have these heat pumps where we can uh, uh, base our estimation of these values. And we have to notice that the installation cost for geothermal heat pump is the highest among other uh, uh, heat pumps. And of course, it's a sort of investment, and you may get your money payback is within 5 years, maybe, depending on the size of your heat exchanger or heat pump. And finally, the lower cost is for the air to air heat pump. It's range between 7,000 to 13,000 euros. And we have to say that geothermal energy is preferable in spite of its initial cost, because this cost will be returned within a few years of operation of this heat pump.